I often wonder about my life when I look back, and I'm wondering if I wasted a lot of time worrying about things that just absolutely didn't matter. I now know that those things that I don't have control over in my life, I have to step over. I can't waste my time and energy on things that I absolutely have no control over. I just have to care about things that really matter to me. I have to care about struggles that I really can do something about. Life throws us curves and problems that we have to figure out, but it's amazing how much energy is wasted on trying to be perfect, trying to fight the world and cure all the ills, when really it's only things that we have control over that we should be focusing on. Every little piece of the puzzle, if everyone did that, then it would all come together. And the world, I think, would be a much better place, wouldn't it? All the pieces slipping together in unity.
Hello, this is Sandra Hart at Life Over 60. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's such a beautiful day here in South Beach that I really wanted to film outside today. Today I'm going to talk about 5 reasons to stop caring about things that really don't matter. Now, this has been a subject that I have been struggling with my whole life because I do care about so many things that are going on around me, and I know that I absolutely don't have control over all of them. So actually, it's a waste of my energy and a waste of my time. The first thing that I want to point out is to question your obsessions. Now, I am such an obsessive person. I really like to have things in order before I can start my day. I am so obsessed about my family and thinking that I have control over everything and that everyone needs me to cure all of their ills. It just isn't so. My life has become so much easier when I have been able to question those obsessions, and I've been able to pare them down to things that really are important and things that really matter. Now, what are those things, you ask? Well, number one, life is too short. I have learned to think about the immediate, the true, and the things that are important to me. Not things that are important to someone else or things that I have absolutely no control over. I have to think about things that are in my life that I do have control over. I once heard someone say that a man who knows everything knows nothing. So if you think that you know everything about your life, then you are going to be less motivated to do something in your life, aren't you? So don't think that you know everything and that you have everything under control and you are the master of your own destiny. It's great in movies, but it just is not true. And you would think as we age that life would get better, but sometimes and usually it gets more complicated because we're either dealing with aging parents, perhaps an aging partner, we're dealing with health issues, with economic issues. Some of us are living on fixed incomes. We're dealing with adult children, with grandchildren, all of their problems. So it seems as though in the time when we should be enjoying our life because this really is the best time of our lives. We should be able to enjoy our life, but it can be very complicated. So it can cause us to worry about things that we absolutely have no control over. So being able to search for happiness at our age and complete personal growth, we have to be able to focus on the things that matter to us. And each of those things are unique and individual to each of us. So number 3, if you feel stuck, it's because you don't have, or you perceive you don't have the power to react or to create meaning in your life. And the reason that you feel stuck is because you are worrying about and trying to conquer problems that you absolutely have no control over. It's normal to be anxious, it's normal to be angry. Those are human reactions that are okay, because they are real reactions to problems in our lives. But there's no way that we can take on a problem that we absolutely have no control over. For instance, when my husband had schizophrenia, I could not control his illness. I couldn't make him well. I could not change the situation. It was what it was. And if I worried about that, it would have killed me. So I had to focus on the things that I knew that I had control over. I had to focus on keeping the family together. I had to focus on my children. I had to focus on the financial area of our lives. Those are things I had power over. I had to focus on our wellness. I had control over those situations, but I absolutely did not have control over his actions, over his illness, or over finding a cure for his sickness. If I had to try to do that, I wouldn't have made it through. I absolutely would not have made it through. I would have been bogged down with something that I'm going to be talking about later on. Details are the enemy of growth. You have to focus on the bigger picture. You have to focus on the end goal and work toward that. Because if you don't, you're going to get mired in onto these little things that are right in your face and you think they're so important, but you forget about the future. You forget about solving the problem and what it's going to be like when you solve that problem, what it's going to be like when you have all the mortgage payments paid up, or when you have the children feeling safe and secure because you've provided a good home for them, when you shelter your children from the chaos that has resulted from, in my case, my husband's illness. So if I would have just focused on him and what was happening at that time, the chaos and the trauma in our lives, and not thinking about the bigger picture beyond, I would have been doomed. There was no way that I could have made my children feel safe. It's no way that I could have emotionally been strong enough to get through what I had to get through, and so that I could see the bigger picture in the end. So please don't, and I know it's so tempting to be focused on the nitty-gritty right in front of you, but please try not to focus on those little things that you have absolutely no control over, because it won't do you any good. It will expend your energy. It will take away from your life. If there is something in your life that you absolutely have no control over, then you have to move it aside, and you have to focus on part of that problem that you can solve, and you can see a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't focus on the negative details, because that is the enemy of growth. You have to really keep focused on the bigger picture all the way around. And don't kick yourself and beat yourself up if you feel anxious and angry and frustrated with all of the things that go wrong in your life. Those really are true human emotions, and it's okay. It's okay not to feel perfect, and it's okay to walk forward and close the door behind you and not to deal with that problem, because if you can't fix it, there's no way that you're going to be able to have sanity and the energy to move forward completely. The last one I think that we're going to talk about, that I really feel that it's so important, and I've talked about this before. I'm hot and my glasses keep slipping off my nose. You have to be comfortable with who you are. You have to be comfortable with your own differences, how you are unique unto yourself. Don't worry about your next door neighbor who you think is a perfect person, a perfect wife, a perfect mother or grandmother or whatever. You can't worry about that. You have to look into your heart. You have to look at your strengths, and you have to embrace those strengths, and you have to embrace those weaknesses, because you are unique, and all of those things in percentages are unique to you alone. You have to love your differences in the way you want to wear your hair. You have to love the differences in the way you want to dress, because it's you and the way you try to work out problems. You have to accept your anger. You have to accept your disappointment. And you have to be comfortable with who you are, and you have to be absolutely comfortable with being different from everyone else, because you are entirely different. Now, I really love to write. I didn't find that out till later on in life, even though I really wrote my whole life. I really love to write. I like to sit down and let words flow from me. I love doing YouTube. I love interacting with people, and I really enjoy helping people understand their lives, because we are all on the same journey. We are all experiencing problems that we absolutely have no control over, and yet we're trying to put it all on our shoulders and deal with it, when sometimes we have to just brush it off and let it go and not feel guilty about it. So these are the things that I think that are things that we really should think about. And I think these are some of the struggles that we should stop caring about, because if we can't fix it, there's no way that we're ever going to solve the ending to that problem. It's better to focus on things that you know you have control over. It's better to focus on things that you know you can work through. Because working through problems, as I said before, working through a problem successfully is really, believe it or not, a building block to happiness. It really is. When you have struggled and you have step by step worked your way through it because you knew that you had control over it, it gives you a sense of happiness and satisfaction. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you taking the time just to sit down with me and share our life experiences, because we're all on the same journey, aren't we? We are all in this together. We may have different problems, different details to work out in our lives, but no life is perfect. But I am telling you that if we cast aside those things that we have no control over, this can be the happiest time in our lives. It really can be. Be so good to yourself today. You really deserve it. So whatever it is that you do that makes you happy, go for it. Be kind to someone today, even a smile, a wave, it doesn't matter. And because we are the nurturers of the world, we are the caretakers of the world, we women, you have a great big heart, so don't be afraid to share it. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see you in my next video. Have a great day.